Can we have Kathy MacCormack Spurr come forward, please? Oh, yeah. Kathy MacCormack was an intense athlete, busy, versatile, but always intense. She didn't play basketball until she reached grade 12, despite the fact she towered over most of the girls during her school years. She was a swimmer, a water polo player, even a lifeguard, but was finally convinced to try the hoops game. Her superb athletic ability took her around the world, won her countless awards, gained for her international recognition, and developed positive relationships that have stayed with her all her life. Kathy MacCormack, at 6'1", started making her basketball mark at Dalhousie University, with whom she played for 4 seasons beginning in 1985. But she would not have been there if not for her sister, Trish. Let the kid sister tell the story here. Carolyn Savoy was recruiting me to play at Dal. Kathy was playing at UCCB that year. My parents didn't want me to leave home, and they told Carolyn the only way I could go was if my sister went with me. Carolyn asked how tall she was, and when I said 6'1", she said she'd gladly have us both at Dal. Was Kathy intense? Let's let Carolyn Savoy continue here. On paper, to get me to go down to the gym on the weekends to work with her on her game, Kathy taught my husband Dave how to swim. She'd convince him to go to the Dalplex pool, and we'd work on the basketball floor upstairs for an hour. Intense and dedicated? Well, Savoy recalls the time St. Mary's University Athletic Complex, the Tower, was newly opened. Dal had never played there. Rod Shoveler, who was athletic director at King's College, told me he met Kathy walking down South Street, basketball under her arm, on her way to the Tower. We were playing the Huskies that night, and Kathy was going to buy a day pass so she could shoot in their gym and be ready. In 1985-86, playing beside her younger sister, 6'3" Trish, also a Dal Tiger, her game blossomed. She led the Tigers in scoring, shooting percentage, and rebounding, was named second-team AUAA All-star, and helped the Tigers upset favored UPEI to win the AUAA title. The next year, in her third year of kinesiology, she was second in the league in scoring at 16.3 points per game, tops in rebounding at 10.6, and field goal percentage at 58.1. Despite the team's fourth-place finish in the regular season, Kathy led the Tigers to a semifinal upset win over UNB before the Tigers lost a 2-point final to UPEI, and she earned second-team All-Canadian honors after being named first-team All-AUAA. In 1987-88, she again was a second-team All-Canadian and first-team All-AUAA All-Star, and was first-team in both categories again the next year. And Kathy is the only Tiger ever to be named All-Canadian in 3 different seasons. She played at the World Junior Championships in Colorado in 1985, in Hungary and Poland with the National A team in 1986, in Spain and Portugal with the developmental team in 1988, and in Japan with the same club in 1988. And Coach Savoy remembers the considerate MacCormack bringing her a national team sweat top after she made the junior national team. The following year, says Savoy, she was nervous about making the national A or B team, and I said, "Kath, you have to make it so you can get me the sweatpants to match." She said that made her smile and relax at the tryout, as she kept thinking about having to get me the matching pants. I got them. Intense. Well, after spending the previous summer traveling with Canada's national women's basketball team for the 4th time, Kathy would bike from Lawrencetown, where she was a lifeguard on Nova Scotia beaches, to Dalplex to work out with Savoy in the summer when not away with the national team. One more basketball story here. She was, during a 3-week Christmas break one year from basketball, Kathy was in the gym every day, and Savoy decided to teach her how to shoot 3-pointers. Within 2 weeks she learned, and in the second term she was the top 3-point scorer on the Tigers and had the highest 3-point percentage on the team. Kathy played professional basketball in Germany on the same team as former Dal All-Canadian Anna Pendergast. And Pendergast says it was great to have another Maritimer on the team, but adds, our common ties of both being from Dal made our connection even stronger. Anna reflects on how, quote, unbelievably neat and organized Kathy MacCormack is. We roomed together a lot while traveling with the national team, and I quickly learned that everything had to be in its place, and I mean literally exactly in its place. I'd ask her, now, Kathy, is this whatever it was in the right place, or should I move it 1 or 2 centimeters more to the right or left? But I hold her dear, and she is my daughter Tessa's godmother. Never a one-dimensional athlete, she held several age group records as a young swimmer, was a member of the Provincial Canada Games water polo team in 1983, and on the 1985 Canadian champion lifeguard team in 1985. One more example of intensity. I love this one. During one particularly tough practice, Savoy had Kathy and Trish playing one-on-one in the key. Elbows were flying. They jockeyed for position. Bodies contacted. Words were exchanged. And all of a sudden, fists were flying. Savoy says, I let them go for about 30 seconds, then stepped in. They settled their differences very quickly. After all, they're sisters. But Trish adds to the story. She says, I had swung my elbow and hit Kathy in the nose, breaking it. I felt really badly because we were both leaving the next day for a U.S. tour with the national team, and Kathy never told Coach Wayne Hussey that her nose was broken, as she was afraid she'd be taken off the roster. She played through the whole tour without complaining, and I cringed every time she got the ball under the basket. The family was very proud of both girls' accomplishments. Their dad, Albert, would have loved to have been here tonight, but he passed away less than a year ago. But Mum Fran is in the audience along with Trish. Kathy MacCormack Spurr is married to Chronicle Herald sports reporter Bill Spurr and is BJ's mother. Now, his dad wants BJ to be a rugby player, but he'll be a basketball star if he gets his mother's height and not his dad's. An outstanding and versatile athlete and a national star, and now a member of the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame, Kathy MacCormack. If we could have Pam Noss, the marketing manager for the Herald, come forward, please, and Trish MacCormack, the sister and longtime teammate of Kathy, to make the presentations. Kathy, I just want to read this for you. It says, please pass on my congratulations to Kathy Spurr for her induction into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. It is an honor for her to be recognized for her achievements. The recognition is well deserved, as Kathy was one of the hardest working, determined athletes that I had the pleasure of coaching. She has a great personality to go along with her athletic ability, and this made her a valuable asset in a team sport. I am thinking of her tonight sincerely. Wayne Hussey, former national women's team basketball coach. So here is a loaded question. What was it like to have a sister to compete with and against?
Well, as much as we sort of squabbled and were pretty hard on each other physically, Trish had a lot to do with the success I had. There weren't too many 6'2" females around to push me around in practice. So she was a great influence.
What about the notion, we read in there that you're a pretty well-rounded athlete. What sort of advice do you give out to kids in terms of maybe doing more than one sport?
Well, I think it's good, especially when you're younger, to try everything to see if that's exactly what you want to do. And until you have to make a final decision, I think it's good to try a lot of different things. But another thing is commitment. Once you commit yourself to something, then it's really important to stick with it and commit fully. I
know tonight there's a flood of stuff going on through your head, but is there one dominant memory from your career that really stands out?
There are several. One that sort of sticks out, I had the unique opportunity of being in Berlin the year the wall came down, and my teammates, who were all German, or born in Germany, they got to go on one bus across Checkpoint Charlie. I was there before and after the wall came down. The wall had just come down, and they went over, and I had to be escorted through another part of the city. And this player from the East Berlin team that took me across, I gave her my sport Walkman, and well, I thought I'd given her $1 million. She started to cry and was really, really appreciative of it. And it just sort of hit home to me the different ways that people live in different parts of the world, and just understanding other cultures, and it was a really unique experience.
Yeah, the game took you everywhere. You were great to it. Congratulations tonight.
Thanks very much, Bruce.